call, John.
This is it, buddy. We made it.
Damn, playoff football.
18 weeks.
We've been waiting for so long. Sorry for yelling at everybody. I'm just really friggin' excited. It's Prop Nation. I'm Sully. This is your boy, John Lloyd Roberts. And we're about ready to take over the NFL Wildcard Weekend.
This is 6 awesome games. I think really every game, we were just talking about it a little bit off air, but I think every game is going to be absolutely stellar.
The only one that I wasn't like super hard for was the Cleveland game, you know?
It would be better if Deshaun Watson was playing. It'd be more heartfelt. But outside of that, I think it's cool, man.
So
I think
scripted.
This is the new,
all of these games.
Yeah, new iteration of the Houston Texans. They look awesome. The franchise, like everyone's excited at the moment, and to have like the Cleveland sort of like cycle come to them as well. The Browns are on the road. It's
in Houston. It's in Houston.
Yeah. These two
over under how many massage appointments does Deshaun Watson book this week in Houston?
Isn't he on the blacklist?
He's not even allowed in Houston anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, he's not even allowed. That's why
couldn't even fly with the team.
I know he's even going to be there. I'm not sure. But these two teams played like 4 weeks ago. But Stroud was out. He was concussed for that game. So now that he's back, man, it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
Not to mention what Joe Flacco is doing at the moment is just like out of this world.
The guy's playing phenomenal. I still really think that this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think the under is very much in play if you play those. But the defenses are both playing phenomenal football. Cleveland especially.
For sure.
Cleveland especially. Yeah, there's some prop lines in there that I wouldn't mind from the defensive side of the ball, but fuck that right now. Let's focus on focus on some points. Let's focus on some I don't think a lot of these are going to be very high flying. The weather is supposed to be just gruesome this weekend.
Yeah.
Gruesome this weekend.
Kansas City is going to be exactly 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Man. Yeah, Fahrenheit.
For that and so for us that's like what, minus 30?
No.
Minus 13.
13, I think.
It's something like that, I think. Yeah.
I'm making things up by saying that, but that sounds right. Minus 13.
It's something like that. It's like brutally cold. Cold.
Yeah.
So I actually don't have any props from that game, which is disappointing. The Tyreek Hill coming home game finally. These two teams, they also played earlier in the year, if you remember. They played in Germany, I think.
That sounds right.
And that was a very low-scoring game. That was a bit of a dud. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with here. And these Chiefs, who do you think's winning that game? Chiefs, Dolphins. Dolphins are so banged up at the moment.
Chiefs.
On defense. Yeah, that's where
Chiefs.
I kind of go as well. I feel like it's all going to depend on like what Travis Kielce can produce, what they can do in the run game, but the weather, man.
I want to believe that Kielce has I have a flip-flop, a coin flip that I'm going to decide right in the moment while we're talking. It's between Pacheco and it's between Kielce for the longest reception.
Is this your first prop, sir?
No, let's talk about it. Let's
get
talk about it because this is where my head is. I really think that this is going to be, it should be a good Travis Kielce game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that one of the only players, if they catch a really long one, I feel like it's going to be Travis Kielce.
Mm-hmm.
And I think deception comes from the running game and the screen game for Kansas City. The screen game has been on fire. Like Edwards-Helaire took 150-something yards.
Yeah.
Pacheco, almost every game, is taking 2 screen passes out of the backfield. They're attempting more than that. McKinnon, when McKinnon was healthy, was taking screens. Like their screen game is actually extremely strong. They have tight end screens built into it. They have WR screens built into it. They're very, very, very prominent with the screens. And I think with it being as cold as it is, I believe that they're going to lean very heavily on play action deception mixed with screens. So play action rollout screen. I like the moving the lines from left to right instead of up and down. Like I think less and less vertical threat, more and more side-to-side threat.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like it bodes really, really, really well for Pacheco to bust one over 10.5 yards. But I think he's only going to get like 3 receptions, maybe 4. And if that's the case, that's where it's like, oh God. And I'm on the fence about it. His receiving totals at 20, so 19.5. It feels pretty safe to me, but I also think to myself, that coming towards the end of the game, that could feel like if the Chiefs are winning, it could feel like a very strenuous pick.
Right.
And then Kielce's is 19.5, his longest reception.
19.5 for Kielce. See, I prefer that.
Could be the first play of the game. Could be the first play of the game.
Yep. I prefer to go through the air. I see, now they've been trying to attack MVS all season long. Actually, they've been doing it for 2 years now, and it just has not worked.
It's not working, and he's dropping everything. They're not.
He's dropping everything.
MVS, if MVS has a game, you can't. If you're Andy Reid, you cannot rely. On Valdez-Scantling in this game. Too many drop balls. Too critical of a time.
Not when it's
same thing with Kadarius Toney. There will be deception with Kadarius Toney because I think he will get the softest coverage known to man. He will. I think he gets a couple catches.
It's one thing to drop those passes game on the line during the regular season when it's like, okay, well, we'll get it next week. But playoffs, when it's like loser goes home, then you need to rely on someone who can catch them. And I do feel like it's Kielce. Where do you think Jalen Ramsey's going to be positioned? Will it be a little bit on Kielce?
Can't be. Kielce is going to overpower him.
Rashee Rice. I wonder
It'll be on Rice. It'll be on Rice.
Yeah, and okay. So, and I think that's where they'll probably have a bit more success.
You're going to have a backer. You're going to have a backer, and you're going to have a DB shift into coverage into the pocket where Kielce is. He will get glimpses of double coverage, soft double coverage, not true double coverage, but a looming other person so that he can't turn around and get yak.
Right.
The yards after, they're going to limit that. But this is kind of where I'm stuck on this pick because will he catch one at 20 yards? He kind of where they target him often, 16, 17.
Yeah,
usually that's where he's catching those. He's catching a lot of those seam routes. He's catching a lot of those quick comebacks. A lot of Kielce is through improvisation and through comebacks.
But it's over the middle of the field as well.
It is,
and that's where I feel like I think you can attack the Dolphins through the middle of the field as well. I
agree.
We saw Buffalo last week. I mean, they went down the side a few times as well. But
man, Kincaid, big game,
huge game.
Awesome to watch. That was them dissecting the Dolphins defense. Yeah, so I'm straight up.
The Chiefs are looking in that game going, okay, we can do the same thing here. Yeah. We've got Travis Kelce.
I'm straight up in between Pacheco at 10.5 or Kielce at 19.5 for the longest. I'm straight torn.
This is where I'm looking again, it's playoffs now, so I guess regular season goes out the window a little bit. And we got to factor in some injuries here as well. But this Miami Dolphins run defense has been good.
Cold.
Has been good. I know it's going to be cold, and I think that'll affect it. But I think that might also affect Pacheco as well and the run game a little bit as well. So here's the running backs who have had success since week 8. It has been Gus Edwards.
Okay.
And then Antonio Gibson had a rush prop line of 25.5 yards, which you got.
And receiving.
Not a high number to beat, though.
Receiving, same thing.
There was a little bit of section there, for receiving as well. But overall, they've been a good defense. Now, they're without Jalen Phillips is gone. Bradley Chubb is gone as well.
All right. It's Travis Kelce. Going with Travis Kelce. There's the first pick. Travis Kelce over 19.5, longest reception. I picture it on the first play of the game or the first drive of the game. Get it out of the way on the first drive of the game. Let's go. Travis Kelce over 19.5, longest reception. Book it.
It's in. And again, there's we're saying, the tight ends have had success. Chiga Okonkwo had a really good game against the Dolphins. Ferg Daddy with the Cowboys had a good game. Kincaid, we just talked about, likely didn't get his 3.5 reception prop, but he did get those 2 touchdowns as well. He scored 2 touchdowns in that game.
I like it.
So yeah, this is where I think you could attack the Dolphins in that spot there. So yeah, not bad at all.
So you like that one?
And, I like that one as well. What I also like is his receptions prop line is 5.5, so 6 catches.
Yeah, you're typical at 7. Like he's a 7.5.
Yeah, and that's where he's been all season long.
Yep.
Now he hasn't been hitting those.
He has not. This is the scary part about Travis Kielce is this season feels like he sold his soul to the Swift.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say the D word, but it feels like this is. It's almost like we've all been suckered into taking Travis Kielce all year long.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
It does.
It's been a down season for him, but they need him to show up now.
But if anybody is going to fucking show up in this game, it's Travis Kielce.
Yeah, this is playoff football.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Longest reception.
I'm just trying to see if I can find his game log of... Do they track his longest reception?
Yeah, it'll say longest next to it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Pro Football Reference. Sorry, this is great podcasting.
Oh my God, it's 5-2 for Dallas right now. Sorry, hockey.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going. Jamie Benn does not have a shot, though, and I need him with 2, which is unfortunate.
Eesh.
And they're 5.
Of course, they've got yards after the catch stat metric, but they don't have longest reception. Okay, cool. Never mind.
All
right, that's a nice one. That's going to be an interesting game. I mean, the other thing you have to believe is that it's going to be... Is it going to be an explosive game? Is it going to be high scoring?
I don't believe so.
No, yeah, I don't know.
I do not feel as if that's the case.
All right, let's jump now to a game that will probably be quite electric. I have to talk about it. It has to be the LA Rams going to the Detroit Lions to Ford Field.
Stafford revenge game.
All over the place. Is it more a Stafford revenge game? Is it more a Goff revenge game? I think last time we played each other, Goff went back to LA. Now it's Stafford coming back to Detroit. So
yeah, that's what I like. Stafford coming into Detroit.
Who do you think wins this game?
I've said it for 2 months now. If they meet each other in the playoffs, I don't know if I've said it on this show or not, but I've said it. If they meet each other in the playoffs, there is a 0% chance that Matt Stafford does not beat the living shit out of the opponent.
I can see LA winning this game.
LA is going to win this game. They've been so good. LA's winning this.
The injury to Samuel Porter, I think, is a really, really significant
dagger
one.
Right in the side.
Impact for them.
Right in the
Their
side.
Backup tight end is
Brock Wright.
Yeah. I was just like, who is that guy?
No. LA is firing on all cylinders right now. Kyron Williams looks like the real deal. Matt Stafford. When they made an NFL film on Matt Stafford's like his drive and competitiveness. Like they made an NFL film on it. And honestly, I cannot see him walking out of there without the win.
It's going to be an interesting game. I want to show you 2 things. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're going to take a look at the Detroit Lions defense against opposing props, receiving props, quarterback props. Here's the passing yards for the last sort of back end. Look at it. Before their bye in what week was that? Week 9. They were a really, really good defensive team. They were great at stopping the run. They're fairly good in the pass game as well. And then after the bye week, I don't know what happened, but they completely fell apart. All wide receiver ones who played against them all hit over their receiving props. Even wide receiver 2s had a really good go at it as well. And quarterbacks, the only quarterbacks who didn't hit over their passing yard props was Derek Carr, who has struggled this season, and Justin Fields. And I think that was in that game where the Bears should have won, but they didn't in the end. I think Detroit scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So there's a lot of success to be had, which bodes really well for Matt Stafford, if you like him in this spot, I'll bring him up as well because he's had a really, really good season.
What are the numbers on Stafford?
There. Hey?
What are the numbers on Stafford?
Can you bring those up for me? Stafford
sure.
and Goff.
Happy to.
None of this is actually my prop bet. I just want to draw attention to how much juiciness there is to be had in this game.
So you're actually not taking either of them?
Okay.
Matt Stafford is 274.5.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff is 258.5.
258.5. See, I love both of those. Look at the LA Rams, man. They've had one quarterback who didn't hit over their passing yardage, and it was Geno Smith that was in LA. Since week 4, every other quarterback has hit over theirs, which I love. Every other wide receiver, too, outside of Devonta Smith, hit their receiving props as well. So here is my first prop. This is a really, really long way of saying Jameson Williams, I think, is going to have a huge game. Huh?
I said, oh, shit.
Oh, I thought you said he's injured. I was
no.
I
said, oh, shit. I said, oh, shit.
I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Amon-Ra, and I think Amon-Ra is going to have a really, really good game.
So are you going to go 35.5, or are you going to move the line up and take some more money? If you think he's going to have that big of a game, are you going to move that and take some more money, or what, John?
I'm keen to do that. To be honest, man, like this is a team. So Jameson Williams, he's a deep threat. He's an outside receiver, and he's very, very, very talented. And against this Rams team where their number one corner is going to be focused on Amon-Ra, who's going to draw a lot of attention, I think he's going to have a really good game in his own right. But I think that this is the game with Sam Laporta out.
Yep.
They need Jameson Williams in this spot. This is going to be his time to shine.
They also need Jahmyr Gibbs. But yeah.
And they also need Jahmyr Gibbs. That would also be another good bet. Like I'm thinking like overs for this spot is a plenty. The over-under for the game is 51.
Yeah, it's high scoring.
Now.
Very high scoring.
High scoring for this year as well. So, and Jameson Williams
at 50 yards. At 50 yards, Jameson Williams is plus 185.
He has been sitting at 40 yards. His prop lines every week since week 11, and he only missed them. He missed them twice, and it was in a 2-game stretch. I think he was playing injured. Every other game in the back half of the season, he's gone over 40 yards. So
40 yards is plus 105. It's plus money.
Yep. And I think that this is a great spot for him. You know, the other thing I'll say about these Detroit Lions receivers, I'll just quickly bring this back up on YouTube.
I think you made me horny, by the way, John. I think I might be in on the Jameson Williams train here.
I'm telling you, man. And if we both believe that the Lions are going to win this game.
I don't believe the Lions are going to win this game.
Okay.
Rams are going to win.
Sorry, the Rams. If we both believe the Rams are going to win this game,
pick your side.
Your side, yeah. The same game that Jameson Williams didn't hit his prop totals was the same week that Amon-Ra didn't hit his prop totals. Sam Laporta had a bad week that week. Josh Reynolds was down for one of those weeks. So there is a positive correlation here between when Goff is on, when he's playing really well, and when he's not getting.
And he will be. He'll be fired up. He'll be fired up.
Fired up, and he's going to be playing well. And I think he's going to throw the ball 40 plus times, which I think his prop line is going to be around 35. So if you like 40 that
40 plus. You think that they're not going to try and control the clock?
It's not in their wheelhouse anymore, man. I know that they have this two-headed monster with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, but they throw the ball a ton, and they use the passing game a ton. And they do try to control the game through David Montgomery, but they pass it just as much. So I'm cool with this Jameson Williams pick, man.
Okay,
I think
I'm on. I'm in it. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm in. That's my little bonus. I'm done. My bonus is riding John.
What is his line?
I'm moving him to 40.
You're moving into, but what is it?
35.5.
Yeah, 35. Oh, come on, man. This is a great spot for him. That's down.
Even at 35.5, he's at minus 115.
Yep.
So
that's it. Jameson Williams. What would you like? How high would you go with this?
50.
50? I think 50 sounds good. You can get him at, so I don't know what, sorry, this is where I struggle with gambling. So he's $2.60 at 50 yards. What does that convert to?
260. So he's 260. I don't know what that converts to.
Yeah, I know. This is where the fractions and the decimals really gets me.
Yeah.
People listening to this are going to know. I think it's like plus.
So double your money is plus 100, right?
Yeah. So he'd be plus, I don't know. plus 160. Does that make sense? Or 140 or something like that?
It would be 160.
Yeah.
Yeah, 160. That makes sense.
Basically, it's double and a half. It's not triple. It's double and a half.
So it's and what? How many yards is that at? 50.
50.
Yeah. So he's 2.85.
Yeah.
On DraftKings right now for 50
Yep.
yards.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is value. This is it. This is where it is. Amon-Ra is at 90 yards. You need 90 yards for Amon-Ra. Give me Jameson Williams, man.
I like that.
Thank you.
Do 40 yards.
You can also get Jahmyr Gibbs at 20 receiving yards.
Yep, he's 20, or on here, he is 21 and a half.
And 50. I'm on points bet in Australia.
Yeah. So Jahmyr Gibbs, if you move him to 50 yards, which I can't see that happening.
No.
But if you move him to 50 yards, if he busts one, he is plus 450. 4.5 times your money.
Are you saying 50 receiving yards?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do that. Look at this. No. This is every week since week 12. He's not gone over.
If you take him at
9.5.
Yeah.
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 All right, that's
don't
it.
do that. You don't do that. Okay, so that's good. That's exciting, John. There's your first pick. Ring it in. Give me like a call. Give me a call. I want to hear like a call. I want to hear a call.
Jameson Williams. Oh, wait, are we moving it?
Yeah, okay. It's up to you, man. I'm moving it, but you do what you want here. I want to hear your call.
I'll need two for the bit. Jameson Williams over 35.5 receiving yards.
Easy.
Move it up to 50 yards.
50.
Or 2.5 times money. Jameson Williams over 50 plus receiving yards. Let's go.
I love it. Lock it in.
It's a long shot bet, actually, now that I think of it.
That is a long shot bet, but I really like it.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what
Next
I'm going to
game.
do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to Pittsburgh. Well, not Pittsburgh. I'm going over to Buffalo. But I'm going to take 2 players from Pittsburgh.
On the Steelers side?
On the Steelers side.
Ooh. All right.
Well, I mean, I think we kind of know. Well, this game's supposed to be freezing cold, and it's supposed to be just god-awful weather.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the weather like in Toronto at the moment?
It's poop. Slushy.
It's pretty warm
sloppy.
here in Australia.
It's sloppy.
We're like 30 degrees every day.
I like both running backs. I like, in the receiving game, I like Najee Harris over 1.5 receptions. And I also like Jaylen Warren over 19.5 receiving yards. A little spicy parlay there.
All right. What was that on the receiving yards for Jaylen Warren? Sorry?
19.5.
19.5 receiving yards. Mm-hmm. Well, they're two very spicy picks. The Najee one, if you can get 1.5 receptions for Najee, that's nice.
Yeah, and he's at minus 135. So, you spend $100, you make 65.
Do we know who's starting at quarterback for the Steelers yet?
Mason Rudolph.
Serious, so they're not going back to Kenny Pickett.
Check down King, buddy. Go look at the receiving lines. Go look at the receiving lines for the past 2 games at Mason Rudolph, especially the last one. This is where he gets comfortable. This is prime Mason Rudolph. Just look.
I mean, the Steelers have been bad all over the shop. It is so risky.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, look at the box score.
Oh, I haven't. Where is it? I haven't got it up in front of me.
So I'll pull it up for you right now.
Are you saying Rudolph?
Yeah. Here, the last game. So they played the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, here we go.
The receiving looked like this. Deontay Johnson, 4 for 89. Najee Harris, 5 for 21.
Jesus Christ.
Check down. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Warren, 5 for 17. I'm banking in this game that Jaylen Warren, that number moves actually up another reception. And I'm banking that he does break one out against the Bills.
These are spicy picks, man.
Banking on it. Najee Harris with 5 receptions and Jaylen Warren with 5 receptions. Accounted for 10 of 18 receptions. The running backs.
That's nuts. What if you parlay those two together?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm parlaying both of them together. I'm going with both running backs.
Amazing.
Yep. That's what I'm doing. And if you go look at their schedule, so who did they play before that? They played the Seahawks.
They played Seahawks the week before.
Yes, they did. And let's go look at that one.
Destroyed us in the run game.
Oh, no, that one was horrible. It was all rushing. which you will not have against the
Because that's how you
Bills.
beat the Seahawks.
They ain't having that against the Bills. But against the Colts, what did they have? They lost. They had Jaylen Warren 5 for 28. Still 5 receptions for Jaylen Warren. And Najee's been getting implemented back into the game here. So I really, 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 really like Najee for 2 receptions. I really like Jaylen Warren for over 20 receiving yards. And they're going to be playing from behind. I like it. That's my move. That's it.
I'm looking at the Steelers' defense so far on the prop lines and who's hit, who has not. These wide receiver ones have absolutely destroyed them. So this is the thing: is do you believe in Stephon Diggs because he's been bad?
Does lightning strike twice? He played phenomenal last game.
Yeah, and I wonder why. Like, what was the difference? Why that game and no other game earlier in the season?
When the season's on the line, that's how it goes.
Gabe Davis,
Superstars playing superstar moments. You know.
Yeah.
OBJ is going to show up for Baltimore. It's going to happen.
Oh, man. Looking forward to that.
I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for next week to talk about Odell Beckham because you can give me that line at 50 and I'll still take it.
Yeah. And the other one was the tight ends have been very, very good against the Steelers as well. So this, I think, could be a big spot for Dalton Kincaid as well, as long as Dawson Knox doesn't get in the way too much.
He's not. He's red zone threat right now.
Yeah, okay.
And he's showing up in 13. So it's yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Man, honestly, I'm not looking at anything on the Steelers side of the ball. I will fully endorse this. I'll support the I'll cheer alongside.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an extremely long shot bet, but yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, you don't like the both running backs? You know, like you're like into it, but you're not into it?
It's just the Steelers in general going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
The middle of cold winter.
Yeah,
Mason
I'll tell you where
Rudolph is who you're putting your stock into.
No, I'm not. I'm not putting it into Mason Rudolph. I'm putting it into 5-foot passes.
Yeah. No, I know, but even then, still even completing those.
The 5-foot passes? No, he's got the 5-foot passes, man. They're gonna work the out just outside the box.
Yeah,
and the same thing with Deontay Johnson. I wouldn't be scared about Deontay Johnson's reception total over either, even the cold weather. Yeah, I like it. I think that that's the play. You had success with it last week. You're gonna go ahead and have success with it this week, and. Is it going to score you enough points to keep up with Buffalo? No, it's not. I don't think it is, but I do believe that that's still the game plan going into the game. It's keep Mason Rudolph from making bonehead decisions and fucking his whole day.
Yeah.
Those George Pickens long bombs, don't be a sucker. Don't be a sucker. Don't take them.
Okay.
Because it's not happening. It's not happening.
I have found my next prop that I want to go to.
Love it. Let's go.
And I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to bet against my boy. But here we are. I'm going to go back to we talked about at the top of the show. This Cleveland Browns going to Houston.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at CJ Stroud,
okay,
who is hyped out of this world at the moment. Who's he
throwing the ball to?
Phenomenal things at the moment. His prop line at the moment against the Cleveland Browns is 245 passing yards.
Who's he throwing it to? Nico Collins going to go for 150?
I'm going to take under 245 passing yards for Stroud. And I think it's because the hype is there. The Cleveland Browns defense is very, very, very good. Now, look, they have sort of trailed off a little bit towards the end of the season. But even still, they've been in really fine form. They've been shutting down a lot of receiver ones for a lot of teams. Weirdly, the only ones who have gotten success against them recently is like Calvin Ridley, or maybe that's Christian Kirk. And Cortland Sutton had a good game against them. But other ones like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, both of them really, really struggled against the Browns. And like I said, they played a few weeks ago. I understand it was Case Keenum and Davis Mills. They kind of split them by half. So the first half, I think, was Case Keenum. Second half was Davis Mills. But all the Houston Texans receivers had a bad game in that spot. I think Dalton Schultz, for some reason, stepped up in that spot. But this is what I'm saying is like, I think they're going to use the run game a lot here. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they start to lean on Dameon Pierce in this game, which they haven't done a lot of. But I think they'll probably tag team Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce at the same time. Nico Collins has been phenomenal. Everyone saw him. It was their first primetime game was last week of the entire season. And even then, it was only because it got flexed into that spot. No one was high on the Houston Texans coming into the season.
No.
Collins has been great, but there was no Robert Woods, no Tank Dell, obviously. And even I think Noah Brown was out for the game. Was he as well last week? So unless they're resting him and he's going to be better here, I think that the Browns stop him. I think that this is going to be a lower scoring game. The over-under at the moment, I'm just going to have a quick look.
You said it was 42, I think?
44.5. So
nah, it's not going to hit that.
I think it goes under. I think, look, even betting against Joe Flacco at this stage is a bit of a sweat. He's getting 272
Come on.
passing yards.
Nope. I can't buy into that. I cannot buy into that.
Gardner Minshew threw for 160 last week, and Gardner Minshew has not been too bad. But like this Texans defense is like
that's a divisional
they're
game.
Not great, but they're not that bad either. They're good in the run game, I will say. So I think there's going to be a few unders around here, and I hate to say it because every time I have bet against, I've been trying to do it throughout the season where CJ Stroud would have this incredible hype, and I was like, oh, those lines are a bit big. Maybe this is the week to bet under. And he would destroy,
crush it.
Of course. Crush it. But I think that this might be where the fairy tale starts to dry up. So, yeah, if they can shut down Nico Collins, I think he's going to be in a world of pain.
Yeah. There's some sack machines on that defensive line.
Yeah, and not to mention the amount of pressure that they can get on CJ Stroud as well.
Yeah. It's going to be intense. It's going to be very intense.
What do you think of that pick?
He's an electrifying quarterback.
Yeah. But that's why I'm using now as the opportunity to capitalize.
I agree. The one thing that scares me about the Houston Texans is I don't even know how, I would be making a number up, but I feel like it's got to be at least half of the games that they've played, they've had a receiver go for over 120 yards.
Yeah, that sounds right. I would say, if not almost all of them, there's always like one receiver who just
isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Isn't that just insane?
Nico Collins getting 75 receiving yards.
Dalton Schultz at one point hit 150 something yards.
Yeah. And I think
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Noah Brown's done it. Nico Collins has done it. The only one who hasn't done it, I think, so Tank Dell's done it like 5 times. The only one John Mechie's the only one who hasn't done it.
Xavier Hutchinson. But this is his receivers now. It's John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson, and they have not been that great for the season.
It's kind of where I'm like, you know what? Is it if they're double covering somebody, is it just somebody else that they just pick and that just fucking demolishes them? Is it Dalton Schultz again? You know, they throw so much.
Yeah.
They throw so much. But I will say, I do believe in this Cleveland Browns defense. I really believe in this Cleveland Browns defense. I fucking hate the Browns. I'm a Bengals fan.
Yep.
But I really believe in this Cleveland Browns defense, and I can't see this game getting out of control. I like your pick, John. I'm not gonna tag team it, but I do support it. I do support it. And you have a fuck ton of balls to go and do a pick like that
against my guy, dynasty, my own quarterback in dynasty.
I also think if you were to parlay that with Joe Flacco's under, you got even more balls.
Oh yeah, that's too scary. Flacco is playing like a comeback player, MVP, fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this is the time where Joe Flacco actually shines. He's a playoff performer. He's a he's a moneymaker.
I just think Myles Garrett's going to completely wreck this game.
I do too. I really do. That defensive line is just insane. The stunts, everything that they do.
Will Anderson, I think, might struggle in this game as well. Brown's got a good line, and just these rookies, man. I think that now we're in playoffs. It's a whole new ball game, and rookies they don't have the experience that these Browns do have.
The Browns aren't used to being in the playoffs either, though. So,
well,
call them all rookies.
Their last win in the playoffs wasn't that long ago, and
Baker Mayfield 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
It was. Remember when they scored like 4 touchdowns in the first quarter against the Steelers?
Yeah, nuts. I mean, but that was a horrible Steelers team.
Yeah. Still is.
Anyway, still is. Yeah. Fuck you, Brandon.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Jonesy. Let's bring it home. I got one more pick, but if you would like to do the honors, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I got one more. I over in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Rachaad White over 3.5 receptions.
Yep.
Self-explanatory if you watch football, and that's my pick.
He's been amazing, man. I bet on him last week, even when like they needed to win, but not too much. They scored 9 points, the Bucks last week. 9 points. Like I said to you, remember we were talking about Baker, Mike Evans. They had their incentives that they needed to hit. I was concerned. I was like, this Carolina defense has been so good all season. Brought up on the show. But you know who's been awesome is Rachaad White. I think he's like number 3 running back in fantasy on the season.
Yep. Yeah, he's been incredible. And 4 receptions. If you're playing the Eagles, the Eagles have been kind of trending the wrong direction.
They've been awful.
They have been awful. How'd you like my Kenneth Gainwell rebuttal? If you were to go back and take that clip from last week when you're like DeAndre Swift, and I was like, what's Kenneth? I didn't say yes or no to your pick. I just said, what's Kenneth Gainwell's line? Because I knew it was coming.
How did they go last week? Oh, sorry,
Kenneth Gainwell went like 70 something yards. Like, oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I didn't take Swift in the end. I took Ken Walker, and he did hit. Thank you, Arizona.
Yeah. He
couldn't stop anyone.
Anyway, but Rachaad White, if the Bucks are playing from behind, which, you know what? Actually, I don't even know if that's going to be the case. The script will tell you that it should be the case, that the Bucks should be playing from behind. And even if they're not, he's been safe. He's been 4+ receptions so often. Yeah. I don't know why he's not at 4.5. I do not in this game, especially if you're anticipating the Eagles to win the way that. What's the line? The line is.
It's Eagles are -3, and the over/under is 43.5.
So when you look at a -3 when a team's on the road, so if they're a road team and they're -3, you actually have to consider that a -6.
That's
odds makers always lean 3 points to the home team. So if you're thinking that's a -6, it's almost a touchdown score. That typically bodes for a team playing. In the last 2 drives of their game, they're playing catch up.
2.3. Same.
Sorry, 2.3. Sure.
2.3.
So call it 5. Call it -5. It's still not a field goal, right? It's still not a field goal. It's still not a last. It's still not a last possession sort of scheme that you assume. So you take that into assumption, and that means that Baker Mayfield's going to have to extend drives. He's going to have to keep them going. They're going to have to be moving the clock probably towards the end of the game. That's worth 2 receptions in itself in the fourth quarter to me. Rachaad White's going to get 2 receptions in the fourth quarter alone, which means that he'll have to get another 2 in the other 3. He's going to get 1 on the first drive. So, unless they go 3 and out. But I cannot see Rachaad White not hitting that 4 line.
No, he's been stout all season long. So I'm looking on Sportsbet in Australia. You can get Rachaad White 3.5 receptions. It's at $1.65, so it's a little bit reduced.
It's good for a parlay, to juice a parlay.
Yes. If you want to do for the standard amount, you could get receiving yards at 23.5. That's also a really good number because he's been electric in the receiving game.
He's at 40-50 in a couple games.
Yeah, so that's a great number. Longest reception is at 11.5. Probably like that one the least. I actually think I quite like this 23.5 receiving yards the most. But yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, he's just been absolute fire. If you've been betting on him and his overs, you've been making money, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles as well. I'll just say since their bye week, they've just completely crumbled on defense. They have not been able to stop anyone in the run. They struggled against Arizona. We saw it. They struggled against Saquon Barkley, who's a good player, granted. But, Rachaad White, he's an interesting player, man. I just want to bring him up quickly on YouTube if you're watching. Didn't get the last couple, but I know he did go over in a lot of these areas here. But basically, from week 9 onwards, he just hit go and never looked back. And even though the receptions have been down a little bit, and this is why I was saying I prefer the receiving yards, could take rushing, could take scrimmage. I think the Eagles' defense has been okay in as far as the rushing, stopping the run goes. And I think Rashad White, he really excels at the receiving, and Eagles can't stop receiving. So
here it is. So what's your last one?
I was tossing up between Mike Evans, but now I'm more into this Rashad White pick.
Let's go. Jump on the bus. I did one for you. Do you do one for me? Let's go.
Yeah. I'm off Mike Evans now because you'd need 70 yards for Mike Evans.
Not too much.
Chris Godwin is at 55. I just think they're too much. Baker's getting 235 passing. It's a bit risky. Can't see any Eagles lines. What's going on in Philly? Oh,
Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts.
He fractured his finger. Hey, so they probably don't know too much about what's going on there. Okay, so let's stick with that.
Yep.
Last game we'll get to. I hate to strictly. Oh, actually, no, I took an AFC team. So I will finish with this Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys game. It's the only one we haven't talked about. So here we are. This has got narratives written all over it.
You're going to see me, aren't you?
Let's talk about this because I'm actually not sure which way I want to go. But I know what I do know is I want to bet against the Green Bay Packers defense.
Yeah,
because they're garbage. They're probably one of the worst in the league at the moment across the board.
It makes me like Brandon Cooks. It really makes me like Brandon Cooks in this.
Yes, so Brandon Cooks could be a good one. Cede Lamb, I love in this spot. Tony Pollard, I don't love as much. Jake Ferguson, I do love Ferg Daddy. He makes me money every week on those 3.5 over receptions. He's so consistent there. Dak has been playing lights out. You remember the last time even the last 2 times that these teams have played each other in the playoffs. You remember that, I think it was 2016, Aaron Rodgers, 73 seconds to go, something like that, bomb down the side to Richard Rodgers, gets the field goal, sends Dallas packing. How many times has Dallas been packing? They've been sent packing in the playoffs.
Dallas wins this game.
Dallas definitely wins this game. They cannot lose this game. They've been one and done in the playoffs too many times. They've got to get revenge over San Fran from last year's debacle. Last 2 times. So last year Dallas lost their playoff game. Was that Ezekiel Elliott was the only one lined up on the line of scrimmage to like block someone, and it just completely failed. The time before, if you remember, was the Cowboys with like 4 seconds to go trying to get lined up. Play didn't go out of bounds, and so there's something about the ref didn't like touch the ball properly, and so therefore the like time expired and they ran out. They couldn't get a grasp on it. This is like they need to be the most well-oiled machine on this particular game, and I think that they will be. I hope like Mike McCarthy's going to Mike McCarthy. He'll show up in the last 2 minutes and fuck something up. But having said that, I think they'll be out in front enough. I think the Packers are a young team. I think they're a very inexperienced team on offense. Again, similar to what I was saying about the Texans, it's when you get to the playoffs, it's a different kind of animal, and this is something like the 3rd or 4th youngest group of receivers or just team to play in the playoffs ever. So,
okay, hold on. What sounds more appealing here? What sounds more appealing for the money?
Okay,
CeeDee Lamb at 96 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Or Brandon Cooks at 40 receiving yards. Same amount of money.
I want to bet Cede because I think that the Packers have been very bad against elite wide receivers, even just like mediocre wide receiver ones. So that's where I kind of lean. And the only other reason I say that is Michael Gallup had been used a tiny little bit over the last couple of weeks. Having said that, though, like what's Dak's passing number? It's got to be 300.
It has to be.
I'll bring up 275.
I just want this last game that just happened against the Commanders. 13 receptions for CeeDee Lamb. 13.
Yeah.
13 receptions.
Not target.
For 98 yards. Then, underneath that, Jake Ferguson, your boy.
Yeah.
6 for 69. Damn good time.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks, 6 for 39. It's not a lot of yards.
Yeah, look, I think you kind of have to throw out Week 18 games, even though I realized that both teams were competing and playing.
So let's go back and look at let's go back and look at the game against the Lions.
Oh, my book has
13 for CeeDee Lamb.
35, and a Cede Lamb at 100 receiving yards.
CeeDee Lamb had 227 yards for
Yeah, man.
13.
Yeah, man.
Brandon Cooks had 5 receptions for 60.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. I just want to take Cede and just not have
And
to
just take CeeDee.
not have to play that sweat game.
100 yards.
100 yards.
You're usually taking home like 1.5 to 2 times the money when you take a receiver that goes to 100 yards, John. You're taking it at minus 120.
But we've done this. We've done this through the season. Remember Justin Jefferson in like week 2? I bet over 100 yards. He hit it. Tyreek Hill, I bet over 105 yards. He hit it.
I know. That's just
Christian
so
McCaffrey,
aggressive.
125 scrimmage yards.
So fucking aggressive.
I know. This is where we're so different. You always like to try and find these little guys who have just got like these little itty bitty lines that they have to hit.
Well, with that have a better advantage in the game.
Yeah.
You know, that would typically would be more in line with hitting with that specific matchup. Like not stuff that I would take every single week. I'd look at it most weeks and be like, that's garbage. But you know, you find that mismatch and you go, okay, like this guy's valued here. Like he's gonna double that. He's gonna triple that. Yeah. You know, I don't feel like those are the feel good ones. The ones that I don't feel good about are when you're in the fourth quarter and you're literally staring at CeeDee Lamb and, you know, and you're like, you need 25 more yards on fucking 4 throws. Like, oh, God. You're know?
Like, oh, wait, he has 78 receiving yards. That's great. Oh, fuck. He still needs another, like, 25.
Right. Exactly. And it's just like, oh, God. I just can't do it. I can't do it, man. It's too stressful for me.
If this game was in Lambeau, then sure, I'm not going to take that.
Right.
But in Jerry World, your 88, your star, your face of the franchise, must-win playoff game. Get the crowd excited. Get everyone energized. CD's just going to destroy these useless Packers performance.
You know what? I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Because you can see it. You can see it. I believe you. Yeah. So that's it. I'm in. CeeDee Lamb over 100 receiving yards.
Lock it in, buddy. You're so dangerous. You're so dangerous. I love it. I
prefer Dak's line to be up at 300 passing yards as well to make me feel better about when Dak is down and CD's still the same. That's a concern.
Yeah, he's got to be around there anyway. So.
All
right, buddy. Well, that's it.
That's it.
I'm excited. Wildcard Weekend. Jesus, Murphy. We made it this far already. Wildcard Weekend. Well, good luck, everybody. And,
let's do a recap pick.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, let's do a recap. You first. Yep.
Okay.
Is that Foster's?
No, it's not Foster's. Man, you can't buy Foster's in Australia.
What?
Little note back. Yeah. I know. It's ridiculous. Like, the first time I ever had Foster's was in Toronto.
Oh, that's insane.
Because the local LCBO was selling it. And I was like, oh, I got to try this. Okay, what was my picks? Here we go. So I was looking initially at the LA Rams Detroit Lions game. I had Jameson Williams up to 50 receiving yards. Really, really like that.
I'm rocking the 40.
CJ Stroud, I've got at under 245 passing yards against the Browns at home. And we just finished off with CeeDee Lamb at over 100 receiving yards.
And Rashad White. You had Rashad White in there.
Yeah, I endorse your Rashad White.
Okay, so you're not doing it.
Well. No, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'll add it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'll go on our big Prop Nation ticket that I make.
I like that. First pick, Travis Kielce, over 19.5 yards, longest reception.
I think that's the one that I'm sweating the most.
I think in the first 3 plays of the game, it's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. I like the Jameson Williams pick of 40 plus yards. I've had some time to digest it, and I'm like, why was I so excited? You're a very good salesperson. But you know what? I'm in on it.
Any companies listening, please sponsor our show. We can do the same for you.
He will sell. I like both running backs for the Steelers. One, Najee Harris. I like him on the over 1.5 receptions. And Jalen Warren, I like over 19.5 receiving yards. And last but not least, I like over 3.5 receptions on Rachaad White for the Buccaneers.
Beauty, dude.
Yep. Let's roll.
Love to hear it. Let's roll. Let's roll out of here. This is going to be an exciting weekend.
Very exciting weekend. Oh. Yeah. Let's go.
Good luck, everybody.